Om. 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 Sairam, everyone. Maybe I will ask Sai Satish to summarize last week's discussion. I have briefly listened. There are some comments which I have on some of the comments, but maybe I will ask Sai Satish. Do you want, Sai Satish, will you give a quick summary?
Anna, I had requested Sister Kalyani, Anna.
Okay, that's right. Kalyani, please go ahead.
Sairam, Uncle. I think we mainly discussed the previous paragraph that we had read the previous week as well.
Okay.
And we just read one small section of the new paragraph, which we didn't discuss. So there was some discussion about what does it mean when we say the Upanishads or what is being worshipped at the altar in the homes and in the temples. And we were discussing again the part where Swami's discussing the Jnana Kanda and how all the different sects, like the dualists, qualified non-dualists, all of those different sects, they all worship or they all accept the authority of the Vedas and Upanishads, but they may interpret them differently and they have complete freedom to do so. And so there was some discussion about that point as well. So maybe if you can share your thoughts on those things.
Okay, thank you very much. So maybe I will start off. I think just there seems to be some confusion of what is Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. I think we should clarify that. When Swami says Karma Kanda, he is referring to the Samhitas and the Brahmanas primarily, and Aranyakas to some extent. And Upanishads, and there are some portions of Aranyaka, and the entire Upanishads form the Jnana Kanda. I think there seemed to have been some confusion. Some people felt Upanishad is outside of the Vedas. So we should understand that these are the four parts of the Vedas. And I think on the topic of interpretation, and I think there was lots of discussion on various the cat story and so on. See, when we practice karma kanda, we have to be true to what is already stated in the karma kanda. The Brahmanas give very detailed explanation, instruction on how every karmic, the Agnihotra ritual is to be performed. That is what Swami is referring to. But sometimes we have our own understanding of karma kanda, and we see somebody doing some havan homa, and then we try to mimic it. Not having knowledge of how these are to be performed, does not really have any value. Maybe it makes us feel good about it. They're more feel good than anything else. But when Swami is discussing about Karma Kandi, he's specifically referring to the Samhitas, which are generally the mantras to be used, and Brahmanas, which give very detailed instructions of how every ritual, Vedic ritual, is to be performed. I think there was some discussion about Sai activities also. So I will give that as an example. Swami came down taking an avatar, and he basically told how spiritual sadhana activities should be conducted. And he also conducted them in Prashantanilaya in the way which is the most effective, or which is the effective path. But then we have a tendency, we add our own additions, like the cats and whatever you want to call it. The reality is they are all based on our whim and fancy, and do not have any underlying rational, other than we like to do it or we saw somebody doing it. So I think that is that cannot be even called interpretation. That's we just taking our own free hand to make changes. I think even Swami has mentioned about the yajnas and yagas earlier on. If people remember in this chapter where he says many of the rituals have been given up because people cannot do it, and many of the rituals have made there have been some changes, minor changes to those, and are being practiced. Swami didn't say that's good or bad. I think the statement itself means whatever it needs to be learned. I think, and then the topic of interpretation. The interpretation comes only in the Jnana mainly. Whereas what is stated, or even the Samhita meanings of, there has been interpretation. The most popular ones are the bhashyas or commentaries by the three acharyas who established the three schools of philosophy of Dvaita, Vishishtadvaita, Advaita. But there have been hundreds more commentaries on the Vedas, including the Upanishads. But their currency, their people did not necessarily keep up with the study of them. Though some of them are studied even in pockets in India. Not everyone may know them. And there have been some commentaries written subsequently also, which are also considered. I don't know whether everyone remembers, when we did our Sri Rudham's Sanskrit classes, I had referred to about 6 or 7 commentaries. That's only a few. There are many more commentaries. But these are commentaries done by people who have properly studied the full thing. And then commented on every line, every word, what could be understood from that and so. And that is what Swami is referring to, freedom of interpretation. It is freedom of interpretation doesn't mean just what we imagine. You give proper rationale for why you interpret something. And that's what the acharyas have done, other commentators also have done. So I thought those were some of the things which were discussed. And I think there was also litmus test of interpretation also was something which was discussed. Again, it's the same thing. Activities have to be followed in the strictest form. And I think there are many writings on how the Veda Purush Saptaha Yajna was done. Swami was very, very, he asked the Brahmins what needs to be done, and everything was provided according to what the Shastras say. They are not and then I think there was some discussion of karma means, brahmacharya, ashrama, and things like that. Actually, these come under not necessarily Vedas, smritis. So various sages have written smritis, which give us instructions of actions which we have to perform. These do not necessarily fall under the karma kanda per se of the Vedas, but they are smritis written by various rishis, you can say. But these are time bound and there can be changes. But karma kanda does not change. Jnana kanda does not change. Trying to study and interpreting, especially in the Jnana kanda, is allowed. And each person to understand what the results are. So I will stop here. So some of my thoughts listening to the discussion. I'll stop here. If anyone has something to say, please do so.
Thank you, Marandan, because sorry. I am just thanking you because we had the people were confused the last time about this, which section deals with ashrama dharma and varna dharma, and we are confused now. So now you cleared it. Very good. Thank you. Okay.
So I think Sanjay raised his hand.
No, I was just trying to, Saramanu, I was just trying to, I think Kalyani had a question last time. I thought it might be interesting to discuss that a little bit. I think you might have touched upon it briefly about the Sai Center. How slowly, I mean, this may be a little bit not completely pertinent or relevant to the book the text that we're studying, but the topic is still relevant. Kalyani, if you remember the question, if you want to go ahead and pose it, and then so that way I'm not adulterating it, please go ahead.
Please go ahead. I'm not sure which question.
It's a
Sanjay,
question related.
we are not getting the Shruti, it's Smriti only. Go ahead.
It's pertaining to, when Swami gifted us the organization. I think in the 2 weeks prior, also you had mentioned, Swami has already told us what the kritas are for our journey. However, over a period of time, due to enthusiasm and so on, modifications, changes, new ideas are added and then justified. And then there is a cult that follows behind that new justification, new idea, which becomes a powerful subgroup, and so on. And this goes back to the same thing. How do we, and this is going to be an ongoing problem. This is going to become a bigger and bigger problem as generations of devotees who have not had the ability or time to go back and study and hear what Swami has said in this regards. And then things keep changing, and someday in the future you go to a Sai center, it may not even look like a Sai center. But it'll be called a Sai center, but it may not have any aspects of what Swami might have asked, Swami might have said in the early days. What are the kinds of precautions or things that we can keep in mind, in whatever role you play in the organization, to make sure this does not happen? Of course, at the end of it, it is all, whatever Swami wills happens. But in our own understanding and in studying these texts and understanding why each each karmic ritual kritus is suffused with jnana, in the same way, everything that we do in the Sai Center, is it suffused with Swami's original expectations and intentions of gifting us this organization? What are some of the things that we can keep in mind? I figured it may be good discussing that, because we are all, after all, here as members of Sai organization, and that's what brings us together here to study Swami's literature. So yeah, I'll stop there.
Sairam, Sanjay, a very good question. Very good question. I don't know if others have something to say, but if others have already voiced their views, maybe I will share mine as well. I will just give one example. Swami has spoken highly of the Gayatri Mantra, and he has told everyone should chant. These are instructions for some personal sadhana. In Prashant Nilayam, there was no practice of Gayatri chanting. That I'm talking about the Savitul Gayatri chanting at all. Because there are certain scriptural directions of how and when it should be chanted. Individually, anyone can do anything. But now we have 24-hour chanting of Gayatri by people who don't know either the correct pronunciation, correct Udatta, Anudatta, and so on. Or at least they should follow what Swami has said. And then people say, oh, we are doing it with love. That is another thing which we hear from everyone. We are doing it with devotion, and Swami will accept it. Real devotion means we have to be devoted to the practice. That means we have to learn how to do it first. That is the first step in devotion. We can't just imagine that we are doing it with devotion. Because the same Swami has told about it in the first World Conference. People can take it and read. It's, I think, 16th or 17th of May, 1968. He says, if Gayatri is chanted with wrong intonation, there will be darkness which engulfs people. So that's instead of the dhi becoming better, they will be engulfed with tamas. It will not be tapas. That also Swami has said. No one has read it. So I think it is incumbent on all of us to study continuously and trying to find out what Swami has said about anything. Number one. Number two, it is better we do not introduce something some idea we have gotten. Because sadhana is a very serious matter. When the Lord has come and established and shown how to do it, it's always better to do it without any change. Because he knows why he has done. And I think that's also an important. But if you mention it, there are many people say Puttaparthi is different. We are here. We can't do all the things there. But I think the real things which Swami has said, done in Parthi, can be done anywhere. So sometimes excuses come. But we cannot force anything. Swami himself has not forced. Earlier in the Sathya Sai Vahini, Swami said, even in India, there is so much mushrooming of all kinds of ideas. So that has always existed and that will always exist. I think all those who are serious, we should seriously study regularly. And if all of us study and everything is any idea which we want to introduce into our sadhana should have the sanction of Swami's writing or speech. But people also have a tendency to conveniently, selectively use Swami's quotation. That's why we are studying a full Vahini end to end. If we are studying a discourse, we should study it end to end. If we follow this discipline, I think we stand to benefit. But we cannot talk about others and other popular outgrowths of various interpretations and practices. I hope, I don't know whether I addressed the question. It's for Sanjay and Kalyani to say whether it's, I adds to them.
No,
Yes,
you
sir.
did. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
No, I didn't have anything further.
No, you did. Thank you. The second part of the question is, I know you did mention Swami did not force anything, right? And that's a very good thing to keep in mind. But I try to draw parallels between Guru Gobind Singh, who Swami talks about, who gave up his life to protect the the purity and um, the essence of the practice of Sanatana Dharma, right? In that sense, yes, I think as an individual, one is definitely within their freedom to practice the way they see fit. But there should certainly be some kind of a difference between that and bringing about changes in Swami's organization, which we are part of, but we didn't create it or we don't own it in that sense, right? Uh, so in that sense, where does that not forcing come, play into changing something that's not ours too, in that sense, in that truest sense?
What I would say is the. One second, please. Sorry about it. So, Sanjay, I think you gave the example of Guru Gobind Singh protecting. I think what it would mean is if someone interferes with what we are following, then we have to defend ourselves so that we have the space in which we can practice what we are practicing. We do not have to enforce it on others. But if anyone interferes with what we are doing, we have every right to protect our space and our practice. I think that is the extent to which we have to go. See, if we try to enforce, we become like the proselytizing religions of the world. So Sanatana Dharma always allowed diverse opinions to flourish in parallel. But if anyone interferes and forces something on us, then we have to defend with our life also. Is the way I understand. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
Sorry, only I am speaking. It's not good. I think we will continue from where we left off, Kalyani. Yes, I know.
Sairam. The Vedas are endless, Ananto vai Vedaha, but they were reduced into four collations and their essence was preserved in those forms. For promoting peace and prosperity in the world, the four were then taught and propagated. They are the Rig, Sama, Yajur, and Atharvana Vedas. They uphold dharma, righteousness, proclaim the reality, and promote peace and harmony by developing among men the attitudes of worship, music, and adoration, and also by the cultivation of skill in weaponry and war. They present the ideal before mankind and exhort them to follow.
Thank you, sister. Auntie, shall we read the Telugu or was it read?
Sure. Vedamulu Anantamulu.
The Vedas are infinite.
Ananto vai Vedaha.
So it's infinite are the Vedas.
కానీ వీటి అన్నిటిలోని సారమును గైకొని నాలుగుగా విభజించి
The essence of these were culled and they were divided into four.
లోక కళ్యాణ నిమిత్తము ప్రచారము జరిగెను.
For the sake of the welfare of the world, these were propagated.
అవే ఋగ్వేదము, యజుర్వేదము, సామవేదము, అథర్వణ వేదములని ఇవి 4 భాగములుగా మానవులను తరింపచేసి
These are the Rig, Yajur, Sama, and Atharva, and these were distributed to the human beings for their practice and benefit.
ధర్మమును నిలబెట్టి
Establishing Dharma,
సత్యమును దాటి ఆరాధనతో సత్యమును చాటి స్ప్రెడింగ్.
Yeah, so proclaiming the truth.
ఆరాధనతో, అర్చనలతో, గానముతో,
through prayer, through archana, and through songs.
అస్త్ర శస్త్రములతో జగత్ కళ్యాణమును గావించినవి.
Even with weapons, these were used for the welfare of the world.
Yeah.
Thank you.
సమస్త మానవులకు నిత్య జీవితములో ఆదర్శవంతమును నిరూపించినవి.
For the entire mankind, these established certain ideals to follow.
That's it.
Okay, thank you, Auntie.
I think that's where it stops. Sairam, Arun.
Sairam, thank you, Auntie. So I will open it up for discussion. Whoever any would like to discuss any of the points.
Sairam.
Sairam, Auntie.
Here Swami is saying that అస్త్ర శస్త్రములతో జగత్ కళ్యాణమును గావించినవి. In what way, how these Vedas have referred to the astra shastra vidya?
It's a very, very nice question. Anyone would like to comment on that? Yes, Sister Vani.
I don't have an answer for Auntie's question, but it's a related question that the Atharvana Veda covers this weaponry and war thing. Right, brother?
Yes, sister. Yeah, so Atharva, so the rigs are their poetry form of prayer, worship in the, or mantras in the Vedas. Yajus are prose, but they are predominantly used for Agni samskaras. The third one is Sama, which is nothing but music in its form. Atharva, as sister said, has a wide range of topics which do not fall into any of them, and various aspects of Astra Shastra is also part of it. And from each of these, there are some are called Upavedas also, which have come.
Yeah.
They also cover extensively, but they are not necessarily considered as part of the Vedas. But Atharva Veda, as Sister Vani said, all forms of
Dhanurveda comes under
Upavedas.
Upaveda, and then that I think it deals with the weaponry and the skill of archery.
Yes, Auntie.
Side.
Because Atharvana Veda, because in those days, some of the Astra Shastra was mantra based. And they are all part of the Atharva Shaka.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, Sister Aruna.
Samya, brother. It seems like in Vedas, if it has been mentioned, the weaponry and war,
Yes.
that's mean it's inevitable in the world, right? It's because it's some of the karma or some of the things. It's like a Veda itself saying it's there already. So it's not something unprecedented or anything. It's something that's how the world is created. So mankind has to go through that to learn their lessons, maybe. That's how I'm seeing, because of its Veda is saying that. So I thought of just sharing my thoughts. Thank you, Sairam.
Yeah, Sairam, sister. Yes, Brother Sivadas?
Yeah, so even in Mahabharata war, there were certain rules that was maintained. Arjuna asked Krishna to drive the chariot in the middle of the ground and to see the type of enemies. So they are, at the time, they are not shooting anything. So there's a certain rules of war. So so even Krishna was helping the war. So as sister said, it has been right from the beginning, because Sathya Vamsa also, God has said it, Sathya Vamsa. So these things were there, and it should be there to protect Dharma. But here now what happens is, to protect Adharma, the wars going on. That's the difference between that what is in the Adharma Veda and what is in the current world. That's, I will stop it. Thank you.
Very much, brother. Very nicely explained. Yes, Auntie Mani.
In sage Agastya teaches Sri Rama the mantras before going to the war with Ravana. He learns a lot of mantra vidya from Agastya Rishi, how to use his weapons, how to use his arrows. So we come across that one. So it must have been right from the Vedas only. Agastya Rishi must have taught him. Saira.
So that's in addition to that, all the rishis, even Vishwamitra hands over his unused arms to Rama. Even Agastya is giving and so many other rishis, also Saptarishis, I think they are. So they are giving, handing over because they got it from through mantras from the deities, the heaven, but they say they now no more use. Please take over this now. So the mantras and weaponry was right from the beginning, even among the sages and everything. To protect the demons and the other,
Evil forces.
disturbing forces, no, throughout the career. Because in this Kali Yuga is different, but in the Dwapara and the Treta Yuga, they are rampant. So they had to use it for certain purposes. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. So I don't know, Sister Aruna, should we organize some training sessions in some of the Shastra for
Sairam Prabha, maybe Shiva. Shiva may be the Trinity. He is doing these all kind of things. Definitely, because it's a distractions, right? So Shiva's hands may be there. So we had to praise Shiva to come out of it. Thank you, Saira.
Dure Vadaya. Vadaya, so Rudram is full of one who kills from far, one who kills from near, one who kills from front. Hantri Hani say, there are lots of instructions, which basically means to protect dharma, as Brother Vishwadas nicely mentioned, to uphold dharma, to protect dharma. Sanjay also mentioned sometimes we have to, just within whatever we are doing sadhana, we should not allow any interference. And that's why Vishwamitra came and asked Sri Rama's help when he was performing certain yajnas. So that
Brother,
is,
can you please repeat again that Rudra part of it, please? That what you mentioned, please. Once
yeah,
more, please.
I'm just telling.
Yeah.
There are many places. Duri Vadaya means one who kills from far. Okay, who kills and who makes things be killed. So there are many instances of mantras. I think you can study the Rudram, sister.
Yeah, I'm
I think
studying, but I just wanted to understand it. Okay,
yeah,
thank you. I'll go through.
yeah, there are enough instances where it's mentioned. So I'll stop there. Yes, Sister Ananthi.
Sairam, um, according to this, maybe this paragraph, and also based on the discussion, for different departments, they have come up with different, it could be Upavedas or maybe the the Vedas. Maybe for defense, it's like Dhanurveda, and the maybe medical, maybe Ayurveda. For the education, what Veda, are there any, maybe it's like Upaveda, or maybe one of these, it would be mainly for education. Maybe the Swami's Mandir, it called Jajur Mandir. So is there any, maybe the relatedness in the Swami put in his residence as Jajur Mandir?
Yajur Mandir. Yajur Mandir.
So that is different from this one, Auntie.
It is called Yajur Mandir. Yajur Vedam. Something connected with the Veda, Yajur Mandir. Am I correct, Varun?
Yeah, so Swami's residences were given Vedic names. In Vrindavan, when the new building was built, it was given the name Trayi, which is Trayi also, that means three Vedas. It refers to the river. Rig, Yajur, Sama is originally it was only three, Trayi. Atharva Veda was subsequently added. So in the same vein, the Parthi Mandir also was named after Yajur. That's why it's called the Yajur Mandir. It means the temple of Yajus, where you sacrifice. If you want to translate it in English, it is a reference to the Vedas only. I hope that answers your question, sister. And then you asked about Upavedas.
Yeah, the Upavedas for
So,
education, the
the Veda, sister, the Veda itself is education. Comes from the root. I think the next chapter, I think Swami is explaining. But the Upavedas traditionally are Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, Gandharva Veda, which deals with music and dance. And Stapatya Veda, Stapatya Veda means architecture or Shilpa Shastra and things like that. So Ayurveda is supposed to have come from Rig Veda. Dhanurveda is supposed to have come from Yajurveda. Gandharva Veda coming out of Sama Veda. And Stapatya Veda comes from
Stapati.
yes, Stapatya Veda.
Stapatya Veda.
Stapatya Veda coming from Atharvana Veda. So I'm just those are the Upavedas.
Thank you, brother. It makes sense. Yeah, that for each comes from the main Vedas.
Yes. Okay. So yes, Sister Vani.
So Upavedas and Vedangas all the same.
The Vedangas are 6, sister.
Okay.
They are the limbs of the Vedas. For anyone to study the Vedas, the Vedangas are necessary.
Swami is going to deal with those.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'll wait.
All of this is being dealt in exhaustive.
Okay, I'll wait there. Sure.
Next
you.
person.
So if there's no other discussion, we can move.
Whether Bharatiya is aware of it or not, invariably, every right act of his will have some Vedic injunction or prohibition behind it as the regulator or the illuminator. From marriage rites until funeral rites, and even the rites for the propitiation of the Manas, the Vedas are the guides. A true Bharatiya should never forget the Vedas or be ungrateful to them. The dualists, the special monists, the monist, all direct their lives according to lines laid down in the past by the sages. But they do not now know the origin and the purpose of these guidelines. If only they do, the fruit will be much more plentiful and permanent.
Thank you very much, sister. Auntie, shall we read Telugu?
Yeah. ఏ కార్యము జరిగినను భారతీయులకు అది తెలిసినను తెలియకపోయినను ఏదో ఒక విధముగా అది వేద ప్రమాణమును అనుసరించే ఉండను.
Whatever activities which are conducted by the Bharatiyas, whether they know it or not, they have the authority, they have derived the authority from the Vedas.
పెండ్లి మొదలు శ్రాద్ధం వరకు భారతీయులు వేద ప్రమాణమనే అనుసరించుచున్నారు.
From wedding, పెళ్లి మొదలు
వెడ్డింగ్ దా.
Okay. From wedding to
శ్రాద్ధం
what the funeral rites, all are derived from the Vedas.
వేద ప్రమాణమునే అనుసరించు. They are following.
They are all following the authority or the directions of the Vedas.
అట్టి ఆధార ప్రమాణ రూపమైన వేదమును
Such support or basis, which is the Vedic authority,
విస్మరించుట భారతీయుల లక్షణము కాదు.
ignoring or discarding them is not the right characteristics of a Bharatiya.
ద్వైతమనో అద్వైతమనో లేక విశిష్టాద్వైతమనో భారతీయులు తమ జీవితమును ప్రమాణబద్ధముగానే అనుభవించుచున్నారు.
Whether it's dualism or non-dualism or special
mono,
Vishishtadvaitam. Qualified non-dualism.
Monoism, yeah.
All of them are following this authority of the Vedas, in their how they experience whatever they are doing.
అయితే తెలిసి అనుసరించిన ఆచరించిన దాని ఫలము మరింత అధికమును.
However, if these are practiced knowing the source, then the benefits will be much more.
మచ్ మోర్ ఆనందము లభించును.
One will derive bliss.
సాయిరామ్.
Saira, thank you very much, Auntie. Sorry.
Sairam, in the English translation, it's saying whatever the Bharatiya does, every right act of his will have some Vedic injunction. So in the Telugu, it seems like whatever action. It doesn't really say what right action, is it?
See, ఏ కార్యము means any activity. జరిగినను భారతీయులకు అది తెలిసినను. So every action has some sanction from the Vedas, whether Bharatiyas know it or not. So I think
The right
the word
is not
it
here.
is not there.
It's not
But
there.
the reality is the Vedas also have acceptable Vihita karmas as well as Nishiddha karmas, which should not be done also, are mentioned in the Vedas. So I think that's what is being referred to by Swami here. It may not be clear for people who are following, so I think the word right has been added. But Swami is just telling a karyamu, any activity.
And is this referring to rituals? Because then Swami saying from like the the wedding rituals to funeral rites. So in that sense, the Karyam, like all the rituals, whatever the Bharatiya is doing, it is derived from the Vedas, or is it even referring to daily activities and that kind of thing?
I think, see, I will refer to the subsequent sentence. Swami saying, whichever the school of philosophy, Bharatiyulu tama jeevitamunu, that means their entire life, pramana baddhamugane anubhavinchuchunar. So that means every Bharatiya is experiencing their entire life as which has been bound by the authority of the Vedas.
Okay.
So that covers everything. Because I will just leave it at that. Okay.
So
We should
some
not
of us,
indulge in any activity which is not sanctioned. So that's the
then they're not a Bharatiya, then if they're doing those.
exactly. Anyone else would like to discuss any points?
Vismarinchi means, does it mean forget or ignore? Both meanings?
Both can be. Generally, it's without remembering, oblivious of something, or not remembering, or even discarding is also vismarriage. Auntie, please.
విస్మరించుట means forgetting.
Forgetting.
స్మరించేది అంటే
Remembering.
విస్మరించేది అంటే మర్చిపోయేది.
Anyone else would like to comment on anything?
I have a question, brother.
Yes, sister.
So it says, we need to do the meaning, the fruits of all the ritual and all that stuff, the origin and the purpose of these guidelines. So how do we find out these origin and the purpose?
By study, sister.
Yesterday we said it takes a long time. It's a continuous process. So it's going to take a long time over many months.
I think the general instructions of Vedas, do as you are instructed until you find out the reason. until you realize the essence. I think that's the best way to approach it.
Okay. So
So
we wouldn't know until we know. Yes.
well, you will be given information by the Lord through some manner or other.
Okay.
Sairam, brother.
Yes, sister.
This time they are using a different words. So is the same Visistadvaita is the special monist means?
Yes, sister.
And
Advaita
Advaita,
means non-dualism.
yeah.
It's also sometimes referred to as monism.
Oh, okay.
So Vishishtadvaitam, they will say qualified non-dualism or special non-dualism and things like that. So
Oh, okay. As long as we know that is the this type Advaita and Advaita they are referred here. Okay.
yes,
Thank you. Thank you.
yes. Yes, Sanjay, please go.
No, I just wanted to point out it's nice to see Swami again and again reiterate at every opportunity the definition of Bharatiya. Again, even in the small passage about those who have faith in the Vedas. Yeah, just wanted to say that.
Yes. The reality is this Vahini used to be called by Swami as the Bharatiya Paramartha Vahini. Then I think maybe around this time or a few, I don't know, few of articles later, Swami renamed it Sathya Sai Vahini. So that's it. Bharatiya is a very strong topic as for the entire Vahini.
The other thing also I wanted to add was, though here it says marriage rites until funeral rites, I think it's just a sampling, because in the traditional sense, everything right from conception, pregnancy, birth, schooling, graduation, marriage, then a young couple having children of their own, and so on. Every aspect was governed by as a prayerful, spiritual, and a religious experience. So all of them being governed by the Shastras, and all of it, including even the art forms in India, were all for worshipping the divine, not for any other purpose. So all of that. So every action in that sense is governed by what is laid down by the Vedic scriptures.
Thank you, Sanjay. If everyone is okay, there's no other question. We can move to the next chapter of Sathya Sai Vahini, I think.
Sorry, just one more clarification, because I know we were saying how if we don't know the meaning, then, we just practice it, what we've been taught, until we understand the meaning. And then even when Swami's saying, even whether the Bharatiya knows it or not, even if they don't know it, what they've been doing or what they've been taught to do somehow is following the Vedas. But the story of the cat in the basket, how do we reconcile that? So say you follow a practice for some time and then you try to understand it more and you try to find answers, but if you're just because you're not able to find the answer doesn't mean you should stop that practice, or like how do you like discard it practice?
Sairam clearly, that's the cat story. Cat is not mentioned in the Vedas. So the thing is, the whole problem here are children who did not even study anything. As I think Sai Satish mentioned about Paramananda Sishyas. People have not studied it. That's the problem. And if they are practicing it and others are going to follow it, it's all their problem. And some of these people, if you go and talk also, they'll say, my father used to do it, so I'm doing it. And you can't even argue, you just leave it. So everyone should find the source in the Vedas for any activity and follow it diligently. Not, hear and say, hearsay is not the way we should practice, or, what we see somewhere. These are not the pramanas of the Vedas. So I think that much we can do. We should approach it with humility that we don't know. We should ask, we should seek information from the right sources and study it and then practice it. That's what I meant, we should diligently practice. This is doing this cat business is just total ignorance. Okay, so that's what Swami wanted to mention. And that will not take anyone anywhere. And we cannot say, oh, no one told us. And this see in the government, if there's a law which is passed, when the police arrests you, you can't say, I didn't know that was the law. Okay, so it is our responsibility to find out what are the rules to be followed. But in the spiritual field, because there is no spirituality police or religious police, people just do whatever they can, they do want to. So I think we should go and get to the source of rules and guidelines and regulation and then strictly follow that, even if we do not know the spiritual significance. So that's what Swami is mentioning here. So I think we have to follow it to the last word, in letter and spirit, what is mentioned in the Vedas. Here also many people are talking about Karma Kanda Upanishads. They only know that name. They don't even know what is contained in the Karma Kanda. They don't know what are the Upanishads. At least can they say a few names of the few Upanishads. The reality is, people want to take Swami's message to the world. But if you ask them, can you name a few Vahinis, they don't know. Even the names of the Vahinis. Or have you studied any Vahini means? No one knows. That's the reality. So then that is total ignorance and vismarinchu. The word I use discard. Okay. Because, if you tell them something, they will say, forget it. See, if forget it means just don't even bring it up. That is also vismarinchu. Because you don't want to even think about it. But that's the way we are practicing what Swami has taught. But we are ready to do, outreach, taking Swami's message to the world. This is a sad situation, and I think we have to be a bit more responsible. Okay, then we will not end up in cat situation. I hope, I don't know, it's too... Yes, sister.
Brother, Saira, everything sometime we can understand to an extent, right? For an example, when you say Shiva, people will think, okay, he's one of the Trinity, one of the, he is the auspicious kind of, but there are so many meanings to it, right? Sometimes a person can understand some extent only, but if you even one word, you can delve into it a lot. So at least something we know by sharing it, the person can contemplate and understand more and more. Don't you think that is also right thing to do?
So I didn't fully understand your question, sister.
Brother, sometimes we may be saying things, but we don't know so much things at the same time. Right? Whatever we understand, saying to others is not, is you think is right or not. But
Saying to
every
others, whatever
to
we know,
anybody like
yes,
we are talking about Swami and all, just I'm under, because of everything we wanted to understand in depth to share it. But even the meaning, in a shallow meaning, we can say Shiva means, okay, Parvati's husband, he's one of the Trinity, auspicious. There are more to it. Still, can keep go on and on and on. But whatever we know, at least something we are sharing with others. Is that is right thing to do? Or
so
you had to, where you will draw the
all the
line, where to share the information then?
understood question, understood
Thank
sister.
you.
See, Swami has given the answer for this. Again, I will go back to, have you ever read the discourse of the First World Conference? See, the thing is, we are all holding positions in the organization. There's a great responsibility which comes along with it. Swami gives you the answer. I will just repeat what Swami said during one of the conferences.
Okay.
He says, all of you are hankering to go and spread my message. These are exact words. He says, can you teach anyone swim when you yourself don't know how to swim? You have not gotten into the water yet, but you are turning and explaining to others what is swimming. So to learn to swim, to teach anyone to swim, at least you should know some dog's paddle or floating or something. But in the spiritual world, people are jumping to the fray and trying to explain when they have not even taken few steps in spirituality. That is much damage to not only ourselves, to everyone around us. Swami calls it blind leading the blind. And so there's a padyam, nice padyam of Swami. అన్ని తెలిసినవాడు అవనియందు లేదు, ఏమీ తెలియని వాడు ఇందులేడు. That means there's no one in this world who knows everything. There's no one in the world who does not know anything. That means everyone knows it. కొంచెం తెలిసిన వాడు కించిత్తుడైపోయ్య. And the one who knows little will demean themselves. So the problem is, we need to know for sure what we know. See, what generally we do, we hear somebody say and then we keep on parroting. Even for us to say, tell anyone, Swami is God who is omnipresent, for us to make that statement in our life, even if that is the only statement we are going to tell anyone, are we feeling Swami's presence all the time, everywhere? Without experiencing that, we cannot make that statement to anyone. Because we have not tasted it ourselves. We have not taken a dip in the swimming pool. Then we should not open our mouth. Because what will happen, even the potential devotee will be disheartened, disillusioned by that. This is one of the problems we are seeing in Sai organization. Many centers are saying our numbers are dwindling. Why the numbers are dwindling? Because people are disillusioned by people who have not made any effort to study. So I will stop there. I hope that I answered your question or not. I don't know where today seem to be very. Yes, sister. Aruna, you have your hand up. Oh, Sanjay, please go ahead.
No, Sister Aruna, please, if you have a follow-up,
No,
go
I
ahead,
don't
and
have
then
No,
I will.
thank you. Just wanted to know, that's all. Thanks.
No, I just wanted to add to that. I think sometimes I think Brother Aruna, you already mentioned it. I think Swami in one of the places he says, after having practiced something and having experienced a joy out of it, only then should we share it with others? So, and that's essentially what Swami says in this last line here also. If we truly understand the purpose behind it, then the fruit will be more plentiful and permanent. I think in the Telugu it says Ananda. There is joy gained out of it. And when that joy is gained, I think our own understanding of it is more deeper, and then it is irrefutable. It does not change because some people agree with us and some people disagree with us. It'll always remain the same because we've experienced the joy out of that practice or out of those words. I just wanted to add that what Swami has said.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Yes,
Yes,
very
Sister
nice.
Shivani.
Sai Ram. This discussion encourages me to share something as we are reading, and Sister Vani also asked how much to read, what to read, and all this discussion, I have to share something. When we were doing, my husband's father's final rites, we were not sure what to do. They left India a long time back, and they were asking people in India what to do, and what they were telling, it was not resonating with me at all. I said, this doesn't make sense to me at all. But because there's no guide, nothing, and over, I was sitting in front of Bhagawan. I said, what is the right way to do his rites? We want to say goodbye the right way and do the right thing. And as a daughter-in-law, there were a lot of things which were asked for me to do and all of those things. But my heart was not there. And I was keep asking Swami, please tell us what to do. So there was a Pandit that we took from here to do the final rites in Jamaica. And somehow he told my husband and his siblings, since there's nobody, why don't you guys, because we were asking, what should we do for 13 days? Keep doing, he was saying, chanting and keep the house this. Then he said, why don't you guys read Garud Puran? And lo behold, we read Garud Puran every day, and it was guiding us each and every step. And I just believe, it's just summarizing. If we have a strong desire to do the right way and seeking out to our Paramatma, he will guide us. He will send somebody, or he will indicate, he will prompt somebody to guide you. Right.
Thank you, Sister Shivani. Okay, if everyone is okay, we can go to the next chapter. We are entering the 11th chapter of Sathya Sai Vahini.
Sister Vani, are you able to read?
Sorry, I was reading in mute. Sorry. Value in Vedas. Veti iti Vedaha. Knowing, knowledge is Veda. That is to say, man can know from the Vedas the code of right activity and the body of right knowledge. The Vedas teach man his duties from birth to death. They describe his rights and duties, obligations and responsibilities in all stages of life. As a student, householder, recluse, and monk, in order to make plain the Vedic dicta and axioms and enable all to understand the meaning and purpose of the do's and don'ts, the Vedangas, Puranas, and epic texts appeared in course of time. Therefore, if man is eager to grasp his own significance and true reality, he has to understand the importance of these later explanatory compositions also.
Thank you very much, Sister. Unto you.
Okay. వేదములలోని విలువలు.
The values in the Vedas.
వేత్తి ఇది వేదః అనగా మానవుడు తన కర్మకాండను జ్ఞానకాండను వేద బలం నుండే గ్రహించగలదు.
So, Vetti iti Veda, this is a definition. That's knowing is the Veda. That is That means human beings, their karma kanda or their jnana kanda, they have to get it with the strength of the Vedas itself, and that's how they can understand it.
వేదములు మానవుని పుట్టక నుండి మరణం వరకు అతని కర్తవ్యమును బోధించుచున్నవి.
The Vedas are teaching their duties of human beings from birth to death.
అనగా మానవుని అన్ని ఆశ్రమములను గురించి వివరించుచున్నవి.
That means they are talking about all the ashramas or the stages of life of human beings.
ఈ వేదసార గ్రహణార్థము కాలానుక్రమగా వేదాంగములు పురాణ ఇతిహాసములు ఏర్పడెను.
Yeah. So for people to understand the essence of the Vedas, in the course of time, the Vedangas, the limbs of the Vedas, Puranas, and the Itihasas came into being.
కనుక మానవులు యథార్థముకు మానవత్వమును గ్రహించవలనన్న వేదాంగముల ప్రాబల్యమును ముందుగా తెలుసుకోవలెను.
Therefore, if human beings want to understand the real meaning of which is the humanity itself, the human nature itself, if they want to understand what it is, they need to study in the first place the Vedas and the Vedanga, the strength effect of the Vedas and the Vedangas, and they should know about this.
కనుకనే ప్రాచీన కాలమున భారతీయులైన పూర్వీకులు,
Auntie, I don't know whether
that one, the previous sentence, మానవులు
that's all. I think so far only we have done, Auntie.
only
In English, because the last sentence in English is if man is eager to grasp its own significance and true reality, Radharthamu, let's understand the importance of Vedangamu. Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you. It's Sairam, Sanjay.
Sairam, the line before the last, there was a word grahana that was used. Can you please read that, Auntie?
ఈ వేదసార గ్రహణార్థము, టు గ్రాస్ప్ ద ఎసెన్స్ ఆఫ్ ద వేదాస్. కాలానుక్రమముగా వేదాంగములు పురాణ ఇతిహాసులు ఏర్పడను. Just to understand and to grasp the essence of the Vedas, all these came up. Vedanga, Purana, Itihasa, all came up.
Is it just grahanartha there? Would it mean the meaning that is hidden, that is obscure to most of us who haven't studied it thoroughly? Is that
so generally the word graha is to grasp, to hold, okay, or swallow. It's like Chandra Grahanam, Surya Grahanam. It is swallowed, and that means to take them in, absorb. See, Bhukti Grahyam Atindriyam. Said what is reachable, what the buddhi can grasp, but senses cannot grasp, that is divinity. So here that grahana only. That means you should be able to swallow it. You should be able to eat it and digest, that kind of meaning. Sanjay, I hope that answers you. Grahana artha means for the sake of grasping.
Okay.
The context here, it says that, to grasp this essence of the Vedas, in course of time, all these Vedangas, Puranas, Itihas, all of them came up. So that they are helping us to understand the Vedas and the essence.
Thank you.
Yes, Sister Ananthi.
Sairam, I can understand what it means by Puranas and maybe Itikasas, maybe Ramayanam, Mahabharatam, and Puranas, maybe examples, Shiva Purana, Vishnu Purana, Garuda Purana, and uh, can you please tell me one of the examples for Vedangas? This is just an maybe explanatory notes, or maybe I never heard of anything in the side of Vedangas. Maybe in Hindu religion, or maybe they never introduced this Vedangas at all, or maybe in a different terminology it comes into us in the Hindu religion.
Yeah, good question, sister. Anyone who would like to? Yes, Andy, go ahead.
Yeah. Vedanga means the limbs of the Vedas. The meaning of the word Vedanga is limbs of the Vedas. So what are those limbs? There are 6 of them. One is Shiksha. So Shiksha means phonetics, how the words have formed. Chandas, in a particular meter it is written. That is Chandas. Then Vyakarana, grammar. If you know grammar only, then you can understand what the Vedas are. Nirukta, another one is etymology. The origin of the word, how it is derived. That's etymology. And then Jyotisha, astrology. And then 6th one is Kalpa, the rules and the laws of performing a particular Vedic ritual. These are the things, they are called Upangas. Unless you know these things, you cannot enter into the Vedas. That's why Swami is saying Vedangas should be studied first, and then you can understand better, read them or understand Vedas. So that is the meaning of these Upangas, Vedangas. And then Itihasa, Itihasa is always, you have already mentioned. I think
the Mahabharata and the Ramayana and the Puranas.
There are 18 Puranas. 18
now I better understand, Mani Aunty. Thank you so much, because these are the rules and regulations we have to know in order to learn the Vedas.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You know the phonetics, how they are formed, the word, how it should pronounce it, and in what method it is, and grammar also. The perfect, if the sentence is there, what are the grammatical rules which should be followed?
So some of in our Sanskrit session, we are trying to at least cover pronunciation and grammar to some extent, sister. And
now I understand.
The meaning is coming from Nirukta. Nirukta Nigantu means thesaurus and dictionary, people can say. But Nirukta means to understand what is not easily understandable. Nirukta means which is said. Ukta is to said. Nirukta means which is not even said. That's reading between the lines also, you can say. But those things come from what's called etymology, as Auntie has nicely explained. So these are key principles. These are the 4 which we try to cover when we are doing the Sanskrit session. Chandas is something which we don't have at this point in time. We are not discussing much. Then the other 2, I don't know whether people...
Astrology and Kalpa.
Jyotisha and Kalpa. So we are not touching them today. But these are all essential features which people have to learn first. Before fully getting the full benefit of the Vedas. But generally there is people say, let's keep something, some unnecessary grammar, and then we will. But I think it is very important.
Thank you.
Swami is very clearly saying that Vedangas have to be studied.
Swami says Munduga means
Munduga, Modalu.
First, that is a preliminary. It is not translated properly, but in Telugu, Swami says, in the first instance, before anything, you should study this, or at least know the importance.
Is that in the last sentence? The Veda Vedanga Mula?
Yes, yeah. We need to know the importance of Veda Vedangas. So Ravana is considered 10-headed. That was because he was master of all these 4 Vedas and the 6 Vedangas.
Oh,
So his knowledge was so great, but the problem was application.
Can you repeat the last thing? What did you say about Ravana?
Ravana is mentioned 10 heads. If he had 10 heads, he wouldn't have been able to sleep properly. He can't turn around. He only had 1 head. But the 10 heads denote his mastery over the 10, which is for the 4 Vedas and the 6 Vedangas. Okay.
Prabhalyamu, what did you say? It means strength and effect of the Vedas?
Pardon? Yeah, so you are asking the Telugu, no?
Yes.
Prabhalyamuna. Prabhalyamuna. That's what you're asking, Kalyani?
Yes.
Probably means it is very generally it's knowledge or well known. Probably means something which is very famous. Also, you can say, or it is popular. It is popularly known. Okay, but it also means strength, effect, impact, significance. All that.
Significance may be the word.
Significant may be the best translation in English today.
And I understand, some of the other things why those Vedangas are important for understanding the essence of the Vedas. But like when it comes to Chandas or Jyotisha, how do those really help you understand the Vedas better?
Very good question. So anyone who would like to comment, or if no one, I will just go. See, Jyotisha means light. So the thing is, for us to do anything, one of the things in the Vedas is when you perform certain 5 rituals, the time is essential, the muhurta is essential for the fullest fructification. So for example, if you want a worldly example, when it has snowed, we can go and plant crops. Okay, we need to know the appropriate time. So Jyotisha gives you the time and place for any particular activity is to be conducted.
And Jyotisha means astronomy also.
Astronomy also.
Astronomy. So the proper timings.
And we need to know the effect of, like, for example, for every new year, there's Panchanga Shravana. For each year beginning, in Parthi also, Swami will get some Brahmana to come and do Panchanga. He will tell how this year is going to be, what are the planetary impacts. So that makes you deal with all the problems properly. And I think that's something which is going to be part of our drama for the retreat.
Oh.
Yeah, that is covered in the first scene. And Swami has written it, so we should understand that. Thank you.
So just to follow up about that, like when it comes to the Vedas, I think we were talking about, how like the Vedas are, Traigunya Vishaya Veda, like, so all this Jyotisha and finding the right time to do things, is it relating more to like the rituals and things like that? But if you're just trying to understand the essence of the Vedas, is it important?
See, we have to first take the preliminary steps before we take advanced steps. We can't just jump straight to the higher grade. So initial practices are karmakanda is essential for everyone. So that means for us to perform the karmakanda properly, first we have to learn all this. So we do these things properly, and through that process, our understanding of the karmakanda itself will come to light. The significance and the benefits which come out of it, and the benefit which comes out of it will ultimately give us much more benefit when we go to Jnanakanda. So from that perspective, this is equally important.
And Chandas, how does Chandas help?
Chandas is meter. So the meter has certain power vibration when a mantra is stated in a certain chandas.
Sorry.
Okay, go ahead, Auntie.
Chandas means there are particular number of words in a line. For example, Gayatri is a chandas, meter. It's a meter. 24 letters are to be there in a meter. So in each meter, Chardula, Vikriditam, and then Sarpa, this thing, there are so many chandas meter in which the poetry is composed. That's called meter. There are 6 lines, Shatpadi, they call it. Chatushpadi, only 4 lines are there. So they have got a particular counting of words in each meter in sentence. That's called meter.
So Kalyani, you want to know more about chandas? Study the summer showers of 1974. Okay, chandas is a protective force also. I don't want it to become a statistical of chandas. But I think if anyone wants to know about Vedas in general, they have to study all the discourses of 1974 summer course. So many of the answers will be found there.
No, I said general meaning of
Yes,
chandas.
I understand. Auntie listed the what are chandas, which is popularly known. See, in the discourse in 1974, Swami says, many people don't even understand the meaning of chandas, including the Brahmanas who practice it. See, one of the reasons why Swami had to take avatar is the deterioration of the Sanatana Dharma. So many people, most people don't understand what is the significance of each of this. So Swami has spent a lot of time trying to explain some of this. And that is why many of the Brahmins who are scholars, who are Ganapatis, they found Swami educating them on the significance of many of these Vedic concepts. So read the 1974 discourses, and if you have questions, we can discuss. I hope that's okay. Yes, Sanjay, please go ahead.
I just wanted to add a slightly less, or what should I say, slightly thought at a different level. Chandas is also responsible for the unadulterated propagation of the Vedas through the centuries in the absence of any other formal kind of written text. It makes sure the integrity of the words and the pronunciation is maintained. And I think by extrapolating on that, if one wants to maintain the integrity of this tradition of Bharatiya, as Swami says, one has to be aware of it, because otherwise we may pass it on incorrectly to the future, and we may also not detect mistakes in our own understanding and our own learning. That is another thought also.
Thank you very much, Sanjay. Yes, Sister One.
Sairam, brother. So, Vetti iti Vedaha means? Here it says, sorry, go ahead, sorry.
Veti iti Veda.
Veti, yeah. Veti iti Vedaha means like, here it says knowing knowledge is Veda. Like what does it really mean? It's about knowing who really we are, because later at in the last sentence it says, if man is eager to grasp his own significance and true reality. So it is to know that we are Atma and we are God. That is why knowledge is Veda. I know it says all the other stuff that we need to know, all what we do from birth to death, but the real knowing.
Sister, in Telugu, Swami doesn't go into such details.
Okay.
Swami says, the meaning is, Tana karma kandamunu, jnana kandamunu, Veda balamuni, balamununde, grahincha galadu. So what it basically means is to know the karma kanda and jnana kanda is only possible with the strength of the Vedas. So knowledge cannot be gained in any other manner other than through the Veda. I think that's a translation. That's what Swami has written in Telugu. Auntie Sharia, can you?
Yeah, correct. In Telugu, Swami is saying this thing. Karmakandamu, Gnanakandamu, Veda balamanunde grahinchagaladu.
And it is saying Tana, so like his own.
One's own.
One's own karmakanda. మానవుడు తన కర్మకాండను జ్ఞానకాండను వేద బలము నుండే గ్రహించగలడు.
Is it referring to like his shaka or that kind of thing, or like his own personalized karma kanda?
Person. One's personal. See, Dhanakanda is available for our own, the actions which we have to do and the knowledge which we have to gain. Jnanam we have to gain. So for each of those, for us to gain that, it's only possible through the strength acquired from the Vedas. Okay. Yes, Sister Aruna.
Sairam, brother. I'm just thinking of this Vedanta and studying this Vedam, and so are we lost somewhere? You know, so Vedanta, we didn't study everything, right? Vedanga, right? So to learn the Vedam, like a pronunciation, the santas and the meters and all, right? At this point of time, I know the lifetime so much passed and we have a limited time, and we are getting to know all these things, and we can see there's a lot more to learn. There's a lot of things we don't know, kind of, right? But at this point of time, even as you mentioned, Ravana studied, masters all Veda and Vedanta, and he slipped. All right. In that sense, and practically at this point of time, what is Swami is kind of giving this message for us? What is right we at this point of time we can do? Something, if there's anyone can share their thoughts, so how they will take this and move on. Because it's, I can say, I can see like so many births needed even to grasp one Vedanga. So it's so much. So I'm thinking to myself, we step into the Vedam and learning the Vedam where we don't know all ankas. So where we are now, how we are going to move forward is my question. Thank you, Sairam.
Good, Sairam, sister. Anyone would like to volunteer to say?
Sister, we are all traveling in the same ship. Understand? So we have not been able to, I read out what I have grasped from the book, bookish knowledge. Not that I know everything, just I mentioned these are the things, what are Vedangas. That's all I know. But as you say, it will take many, many births for us to understand. At least Swami is introducing these words to us. These things were unknown to us before that. Swami is introducing us to these new concepts which are there in our Vedas. So the holy texts are giving such knowledge, at least to know them. We have taken this birth, and we are luckily by Swami's grace, we are all in this group and trying to understand a little bit. That's all.
Okay. Thank you so much. At least we can relax a bit. Thanks.
I know Arun's opinion about this.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Sanjay, please go ahead.
No, I thought it might be good since Sai Satish is on the call. It might be good for him to recollect. I think he already narrated it a few weeks ago. There's a beautiful story about Swami giving a discourse to some of the villagers that had come in the mandir, and Kasturi Garu asking Swami some questions. Maybe if he doesn't mind me putting him on the spot, he could recollect it, or yeah.
Sai Satish is there.
Yes, Auntie. Yeah, if it's about that story, I think Swami had all of these villagers come to Mandir, and they all thought that they would be getting usually whatever Swami gifts as prasadam or gifts of that kind. But when they came, Swami started speaking about the highest philosophy of Advaita. So I think halfway through that also, Kasturi Garu was looking at Swami and looking at the audience, and then later on after the discourse got over, he went on to tell Swami that Swami, they would have definitely not understood anything like of what Swami spoke, because he himself was finding it difficult to translate. So at that point, he was just trying to see how would the farmers or those people who were literally illiterate people who were there, so how would they understand this? And then Swami said that I'm speaking to them so that this is more of that will come to you their use in the future births. So I think the other day in the center also we were speaking about this, and it was more like many things that even for each one of us, if you look back in time, maybe 20 years, 30 years back, we would have definitely understood, like many times, like when we were seated in front of Swami as primary school children, we were like, oh my God, all this, we used to call it bouncers, it's just going above the head, nothing of which was understood. But looking at it now, much later, we can grasp at least the tip of the surface. We can scratch to understand what it is. So that way, I think time itself, through God's grace, time itself reveals it, and the seeds are sown early, so one day they will definitely sprout. But I'll stop, Sarah.
Thank you, Sai Sandesh.
So,
Auntie, please go.
Yeah. Exactly what Sai Satish said. When we were all young children, Swami's discourses, we used to sit there hours together. Swami is speaking. Nothing goes into our head. Nothing. Now, when we are reading Sathya Sai Vahini series, what Swami was saying in those days, now it is little bit, at least, it enlightens our mind. Exactly, that's what happened to me also. Sairam.
Ishvara Prerita Jnana.
Sairam, right now, what I understood is like we don't know these kind of things. To realize that's also something we are learning now. That's how we have to take it and move on, kind of. Otherwise, we are stuck. We won't learn anything. But at least coming to know this much is there. At least something we are getting itself. It's a Swami's grace. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, sister, thank you. Maybe we'll close, but just with some comments from my side, if it's okay. See, the reality is we know very little. As even in Tamil, they will say, "Kattrathu kaiman alavu." Okay, only one little, with what we can hold. So I think that's the first acknowledgement we have to make. Number one. Number two, if the rest of our life, we should not waste even a moment. I think that is the urgency with which we have to study what Swami has taught. We should not give time for anything else in the world. Without ananya, without any other thought, any other distraction, we should study. Otherwise, we are not understanding the significance, as Swami said, prabalyamu. So in the Gita, Krishna assures, if you study like that, in your next life, you will be born in a family and circumstances in which you can continue this journey. So I think let's not be impatient, but it should motivate us to not waste even a moment of our life, whatever is left of it, and study what Swami has taught. I think that's all we can do. And that's, I think that will please that Swami that we are spending our life in the most meaningful manner. And so I think with those thoughts, we will close for today and again meet next Sunday. Sai Ram, everyone. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavant. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavant. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sai Ram, everyone.
Thank you, Sai.